Most plants live simple, predictable lives. They anchor themselves in one place, stretch their leaves toward the sun, and sip on water from the ground. If they're lucky, the soil provides the nutrients they need. If they're not, well, they wither. They die. That's the usual story, but not for the Venus flytrap. This plant is different. It doesn't just sit there waiting for life to happen. It takes matters into its own leaves. You see, the Venus flytrap lives in a very specific, very harsh environment. The nutrient-poor bogs and wetlands of North and South Carolina. These soils are acidic, sandy, and barren. There's barely any nitrogen in the ground, one of the essential building blocks plants need to survive. For most plants, this would be a death sentence, but the Venus flytrap found a solution. It decided to hunt. Yes, a plant that hunts. Millions of years of evolution transformed this quiet green organism into a specialized predator. It doesn't just absorb sunlight. It sets traps, catches prey, and digests meat. But how does it do that? At the tip of each leaf, the Venus flytrap has evolved a trap that looks like something out of a science fiction movie. Two curved lobes hinge together, lined with spiky teeth. Not real teeth, but stiff bristles called cilia. They interlock when the trap closes, forming a living cage. Inside the trap are tiny, sensitive hairs, called trigger hairs. These are the plant's sensory system, its version of touch receptors. When an insect, like a fly, spider, or beetle, steps onto the trap and brushes against a trigger hair, the plant waits. Nothing happens. Not yet. Why? Because the Venus flytrap is careful. It doesn't want to waste energy closing its trap every time a leaf falls or a raindrop lands. Closing the trap costs resources, and in its harsh environment, wasting energy is dangerous. So the Venus flytrap developed a kind of counting system. If a single hair is touched, the plant starts a timer. If no other hair is touched within about 20 seconds, the timer resets. But if a second hair is touched before the time runs out, the trap snaps shut. This is one of the fastest movements in the plant kingdom. It happens in about 1/10 of a second, fast enough to trap a fly before it can escape. Now you might think, that's it. The plant caught its prey. But the story isn't over yet. Once the trap is closed, it doesn't digest the insect right away. First, it checks again. If the trapped bug struggles, it will trigger more hairs from the inside. Each time this happens, the Venus flytrap counts the touches, like it's gathering data. When the plant is sure it has caught a real meal, it seals the trap tight, airtight, and begins digestion. It releases special enzymes, natural chemicals that break down the insect's soft tissues. The plant absorbs nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and other minerals that the swampy soil cannot provide. The digestion process usually takes between 5 to 12 days, depending on the size of the prey. Once the plant is finished, it reopens the trap. Left behind is nothing but the indigestible parts, the exoskeleton, the hard shell, the leftovers of the meal. Each trap can do this about 4 to 6 times before it turns black and falls off. But the plant keeps growing new traps, ready to hunt again. And here's the truly mind-blowing part. The Venus flytrap has no brain. It has no nerves. Yet it can count time events and even make decisions about whether to commit to digestion or not. Scientists have discovered that when the trigger hairs are touched, the plant sends tiny electrical signals, known as action potentials, similar to the impulses in animal nerves. These signals help the plant keep track of touches, set internal timers, and decide when to act. In a way, the Venus flytrap is like a living machine, part plant, part trap, part stomach. And it's not alone in the world of carnivorous plants, but it is the most famous. Other plants, like pitcher plants and sundews, also eat insects. But the Venus flytrap is special because it moves. It has evolved a snap trap, one of the most sophisticated adaptations in the plant kingdom. This unique plant has fascinated scientists for centuries. Charles Darwin himself wrote extensively about it. He called the Venus flytrap the most wonderful plant in the world, and modern science agrees. Today, researchers study the Venus flytrap not just because of its cool factor, but because it helps us understand how plants sense the world around them, how they process information, how they evolved such complex behaviors without a nervous system. Some scientists are even using Venus flytraps as inspiration for soft robotics and bioengineering, mimicking the plant's trap mechanism in machines that can sense and respond to touch. Think about that. A plant that inspired technology. A simple green organism, quietly growing in the swamps, that has captivated human imagination for centuries. And it all comes down to one simple fact. This isn't just a plant. It's nature's perfect trap. A small, sticky, living marvel that catches, counts, digests, and survives. In a world where most plants couldn't last a day.